there has to be an awakening, a rude awakening, almost like what I would call a reckless abandonment. That's what I would want women to understand. Like, you are not chained by the mind. You're not shackled by those ideas, because anything that doesn't subscribe to the confidence that Christ has given you is a lie, period.
Right.
So if you like being lied to, then continue those thoughts in your head.
Yeah.
But if you want to understand and say to yourself, you know what, reckless abandonment, I know that this is a lie. I am tired of being lied to. Then that is the rude awakening, understanding that every single thing, that negative self-talk, is a lie.
Welcome to Heels, Handbags, and Hustle. Step in faith, carry love, pursue God's calling. This is your host, Rachel Earp, and I'm so delighted that you found my show. My podcast is dedicated to encouraging women to be more bold, confident, and secure in their work and femininity. I've had the privilege of bringing on many outstanding women who share their journeys, stories, and successes with us. I believe women should embrace their God-given gifts and abilities without the entanglements of fear, comparison, or past mistakes. As a wife, business owner, and mom of 2 boys, one with Down syndrome, I have found such joy in the community of supportive women. My prayer is that this podcast elevates each person who listens and inspires a closer walk with God. Now, let's get to it, friends. Friends, I hope you're ready for a conversation that will inspire your soul, challenge your mindset, and leave you feeling empowered in every area of your life. Today's guest is a true force of faith and femininity. She's a devoted wife, a powerhouse mama, a doctor, an entrepreneur, and she is the reigning Mrs. Jamaica International 2025. My friend, Dr. Kanema Clark, is on a mission to champion faith, family, and freedom, and she does it all with grace, grit, and heart that just shines so bright. From navigating loss to building a thriving health practice alongside her husband, Dr. Drew Clark, to walking boldly in her calling as a woman of influence, she is truly living proof that you can honor God, raise a family, run a business, and still wear your heels with confidence. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into the bold and beautiful Dr. Kanema Clark. I cannot wait to share her with all of you guys. It's going to be so good, friends. So get ready. Well, Kanema Clark, what a treat to have you on the show today. I am so delighted that we can get a little peek behind the scenes and pull back the curtain a little bit to your story and all the incredible things that you're doing in work and life and motherhood. Can you just start a little bit at the beginning and share with us who you are and what are the steps that led you to where you are right now? I want to get into that. I'm super excited, but let's start with the beginning.
Absolutely. So thank you again for allowing me to come on your podcast, Rachel. I'm really, really, really excited to be here. There's a couple different things that kind of got me started right now. I'm in the pageantry world. So I have the title of Mrs. Jamaica International for this year. I know I'm super, super excited. I'm getting ready to do nationals. And one of the reasons why I started this endeavor and really went into this particular division of the international pageants was because of their core values. Their core values kind of aligned 100% with my values. There are a lot of different divisions that kind of took a turn for different values as far as, you don't have to be a biological woman. You don't necessarily have to be married to a man. And I am in the Mrs. division. So it is for married women. It's all about empowering and showcasing married women's accomplishments. So, I'm a chiropractor, so I'm a doctor, a mom of 5, including 3 heavenly babies, devout wife, to my husband, Dr. Drew Clark. He's also a chiropractor. We have 2 practices, and we're just really living the dream. So I kind of really started with that endeavor because I already had a nonprofit. We had our nonprofit Breakthrough of the Voter Project. And I kind of saw it as an opportunity where, God gives you a microphone and then he gives you a platform, kind of like your podcast. And then you kind of feel like, well, maybe this is my megaphone.
Yeah,
So I looked at it as using it as a megaphone.
I love that. So, chiropractor, running businesses, you have a beautiful, beautiful family, all
Thank
of the
you.
things that you're doing. I know the word balance feels so obscure. Like, is that even really a thing? But how do you manage all of those things together? And what drives you every day when you get up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror? I know you feel such a strong calling to your purpose and your mission, which encompasses all of those things. So
Mhm.
how do you tie them all together and make it work so beautifully?
Well, what drives me, of course, is my faith.
Mm,
The faith is more than just, it just isn't, it's not just a personal thing for me. It's really the heartbeat to everything that I do. And so if that's your heartbeat to everything that you do, then when you wake up and you have a heartbeat, it's like, okay, I'm doing better than I deserve, right?
yeah.
And so that's what kind of really drives me as far as whether I'm advocating for medical or religious freedoms or leading in service projects. Those are the things that really push me and how I get up and get out the door. And my message is always going to be the same.
Mm,
I always have the same message, faith moves mountains.
yes,
Okay. And through that, you can really overcome anything. So when we talk about balance, yes, I do feel like balance is a very obscure kind of a deal. I like to say I never really have balance. I like to say I have harmony.
I like that word.
Okay. So when I think about harmony, I think about ebbs and flows to life
Mhm.
because there are ebbs and flows. And so sometimes you have to allocate energy and allocate responsibilities to other things. And then it's a flow.
Right.
So you may not always allocate the same amount of intensity here as here, but as long as there's harmony with it, with those ebbs and flows, then guess what? My husband and I can make beautiful songs together.
Yes. Oh, I love that perspective so much. And I'm thinking back to like the first time that I met you, and we've known each other for several years now. And I
Yes.
remember thinking, like, wow, she is so stunning. Like, oh my gosh,
You.
you walk in the room, but I think beyond just all of that is just your presence. Like when you walk in the room, you radiate such a beautiful light. And I think that really ties so well into your mission, especially now in this season of life. You want to empower women globally. That's really a big part of your initiative and Mrs. Jamaica International and what they're doing. But for women in particular, oftentimes we believe a lot of lies about ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And what would you tell that woman who really can't get herself out of those lies? What would you encourage her so that she can pursue the things that she's passionate about, no matter what season of life that she's in? Is she too late for that?
What I would tell a woman that, I would almost want to shake her.
I love it. And
You
Kanema
know, I,
style.
yeah, because sometimes you need more than just words. Sometimes you also need a physical, like, encounter with love,
Hmm.
right? With love. Um, for some strange reason, I do come across this quite often. That question doesn't surprise me. And what I've experienced is there has to be an awakening, a rude awakening, almost like what I would call a reckless abandonment. That's what I would want women to understand. Like, you are not chained by the mind. You're not
Mm,
shackled by those ideas because anything that doesn't subscribe to the confidence that Christ has given you is a lie, period.
right.
So if you like being lied to, then continue those thoughts in your head.
Yeah.
But if you want to understand and say to yourself, you know what, reckless abandonment, I know that this is a lie. I am tired of being lied to.
Hmm.
Then that is the rude awakening, understanding that every single thing, that negative self talk is a lie.
Yeah.
One of the ways to get out of it, you have to have an attitude of gratitude. What are you grateful for? What are you thankful for? It could be the simplest thing. It could be, I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. And you may not even feel like you are grateful for waking up this morning. But guess what? Some people don't wake up the next day.
Yeah.
Okay. And you still have an opportunity to have a ripple effect or to make a change in someone else's life or even in your life. So you have the opportunity to make it right. So we have
Mm,
to look at it that way, in my perspective. Staying in the word, that's
yeah.
how you combat the crazy mind thoughts, the negative self-talk, right? The mind is very crazy, but if you stay in the word, and it doesn't mean you have to be a biblical scholar, it doesn't mean you have to be like some super Christian. None of that matters. It means you have to have faith of a mustard seed, and it's one page at a time. You don't have
Mm,
time to read a book,
right.
download it on Audible
Right.
and just listen to it. I think that staying spirit filled helps with that, but it has to be a consistent activity. It has to be
Mm,
something that you are willing to do day in and day out. So you have to develop that discipline, develop that muscle for that to happen.
mm.
That's what
So
I would tell. That's what I would tell that woman, because we all have those moments where we don't feel enough,
yeah.
but we can combat that with figuring out what we can do about the problem instead of focusing on all the negative things. Let's focus on what we can do.
Well, I know for you, competing for Mrs. Jamaica International has been about so much more than the crown. I would love to know what message of hope that you have for young girls, even, and women when they walk away and they're watching and they're admiring and they're just like, wow, that is so inspiring. What message of hope do you want them to take away from this as you're living out your dream right now,
Hmm.
and you're obviously giving honor to God and you're still honoring your family and making sure that all of the things are working as they're supposed to? What do you want them to take away from this as you're going and really spreading so much to the world right now?
I want them to take away from it that as I'm preparing for nationals or a pageantry world, I don't want them to think of this as a competition. I'm not competing with another young lady. I'm looking at this as self improvement.
Mm.
I'm
Girl,
looking
what do
at
you got to improve?
always, always. I'm looking always improvement. I'm looking at this as self-improvement. I'm looking at this as a refining process. I'm looking at this as a sisterhood.
Yeah.
A sisterhood. You know how many women I get to lock arms with that are making impacts globally, that have amazing
Mm.
platforms, that just want to love on people. It's amazing to be around like-minded women that
Yeah.
share the same similar passions that I do, which is really just showcasing what we do and locking arms with them for that global impact. So that is what I would like to tell that woman or that young girl that has the hope of wanting to maybe even be in the pageantry industry, or you have a nonprofit. Keep putting one foot in front of the other, making it happen, right? God will give you the megaphone.
Mm,
Sometimes it's not always about the microphone. When you're advancing his kingdom, oh man, he's going to give you every opportunity in the world to continue that mission forward, because it's all about a hand up, not a hand out, right? And so we want to be able to pay it forward. We want to be able to advance his kingdom. So when you're advancing his kingdom, it's impossible for you to lose hope with that.
yes.
Right? If the intentions are pure. So keep your intentions pure. It's not a competition. It's self-improvement. It's about refining yourself, making yourself better as we continue to prepare to be the bride of Christ.
That's amazing. So, what steps then? Tell us what the steps were, or at least give us like a little peek of what it looked like to enter into this world. Did you feel like all of the things that you have gone through in life to this point have prepared you for this time in your life? Tell us about some of that for someone who's listening who's like, well, like, am I in the right place? Is it the right time? How do I know? How do I know if I'm ready? Like all the doubts, the misgivings. Did you have any of that?
I
Or
did.
were you just like, this is my moment to shine?
No, I did. I did have those
Oh,
moments. You know, my husband was the one that co-signed and said, "No, you're doing this. You're not having God you're not going to be blocked from your blessings." He's like, "No, you're doing this." And I did have that moment where it was like midnight one night and we were up and we were talking and I said, "Drew, are you sure? Are you sure?" My husband's name is Drew. He said, "Are you sure I should be doing this right now? Are you sure with the timing that the timing is right for this? Maybe I should wait." Maybe I should wait, is what I kept saying to him. And he said, absolutely not. He said, you
mm,
do this now. He said, this is your time. You're not going to stop because you're having a little bit of self doubt. You know that you can do this. Just do it. And I just looked at him and I said, okay, that was it. You know, sometimes you just need a little reassurance, a little nudge. And as far as preparation is concerned, for me, I think having my support system, knowing that my husband is supporting my decision in doing this and knowing that I have my family supporting me in this decision to do this does help a great deal. Now, as far as my platform is concerned and my nonprofit and everything that we're doing, that never changed.
mm-hmm.
So that was something that was always there. So it wasn't necessarily that the pageant world, um, because of that industry, that I'm doing the things that I'm doing in the community, that
Right.
already existed. So I'm looking at it as I'm bringing something to the table. I'm bringing something to the sisterhood. I'm bringing something to the pageantry world. And that self-worth, no one can take from you because my intentions are to add value to the system.
Oh
So
my
as
goodness.
far as preparation, have the right intentions. And if you have the right intentions, all else will fall into place, in my opinion, because it really is about service. And
Yeah.
you have to be service above self. And when you're service above self and you have those tenets, those core tenets, then everything else is a gown and interview skills at that point. But your
Yeah.
platform and the work that you're doing will speak for itself.
So talk to us about the marriage aspect because I love to watch you and your husband. You just have such a beautiful relationship. And for those of you who are listening, y'all got to go follow the Clark family. They are just so sweet. And I can tell that you guys just truly adore each other. How do you manage to I want to ask you so many questions. I know you have to get off very soon because you have a lot going on with all this, but really quickly, can you share with us how that works? How do you make all of that and then have time for cultivating a beautiful marriage?
Okay, so it's you have to be intentional. In a world where marriage can be conflated so much now as a contract or
Yeah.
as just a status symbol for some people,
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about real relationships, when we talk about biblical relationships, you have to have an investment of time. You
Right.
have to have an investment of intentionality. So, I feel like that's my buzzword today, intention, right? Your intentions have to be pure. So with us, we attend marriage conferences every year, non-negotiable, at least one marriage conference, because it's not about whether or not you have issues in your marriage or anything. It's about having the tools in your toolbox at all times. So when things come up, you're prepared and you're ready to shake and bake,
Mm,
right?
so good.
It's about making sure you do have the right tools. It's making sure you're affirming each other in your biblical roles as, for me, a helpmeet.
Mm-hmm.
And I take that role very seriously. And so when you're operating in that order, then God is going to bless you in your marriage.
Yeah.
Yes, in my opinion, I feel like we do make it look easy. But it isn't easy. It's because it's intentional. We put the work in, and my husband is worth the work. My
Mm,
marriage is worth the work.
yes. So good. This episode of Heels, Handbags, and Hustle is brought to you today by Erpware, your go to marketing team for done for you social media that actually sounds like you. If posting on social media makes you feel overwhelmed, inconsistent, or like you're constantly yelling into the void, I've got good news. At Erpware, we help business owners and brands show up online with purpose. Our team of writers, designers, and brand strategists create custom branded content, graphics, captions, reels, stories, all the things, so you can spend less time stressing over Canva and more time serving your audience. Whether you're in insurance, coaching, real estate, ministry, or anything in between, we create a voice, aligned on brand content calendar that helps you show up consistently without sounding cookie cutter. We've helped brands grow their reach and engagement with smart, beautiful, and strategic content that actually converts. So if your social media feels more like a chore than a channel for connection, it might be time to hand it off to the pros. Learn more and get started at herbware.com or DM me the word social on Instagram at I am Rachel Earp, and I'll send you all the details because your brand deserves something way more than boring content. So get started today on your social media and make your identity something the whole world can see.
Have we like to read the chronological Bible together, and we take the time to do that with each other. And it keeps us on the same pace, even with our biblical studies. So even if you're a couple and you have your Proverbs 31 or your first five that you're doing, or your own girl, ladies group that you're going to, and maybe he has a men's group that he's going to. But then it's like, what about you and your husband doing something together on that front? So we decided that we were going to do the chronological Bible together, because then it goes day by day, and then we both know what we listened to or what we read, and we can have conversation about that. Kind of keeps us on the same wavelength spiritually
Mm-hmm.
as well, and I think that's important.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll come up to him and I'll say, did you hear that today? Like, did you listen to that? Or did you read that in the chronological Bible? Like, Sarah called Abraham Lord. Why did she do that? Like, what is behind that? And what is the difference between calling your husband Lord, and what is the difference between saying Lord God, right? And so like we will have like these detailed conversations about the most randomest things that we listen to on a day-to-day basis, but it keeps it fun. It keeps it still spicy, and maybe not a lot of people think the Bible's spicy, but I think it kind of is. Um, and then you can have like these conversations that are skin deep,
Mm-hmm.
right? More than surface level. And so I think that for us, that's one of the things that we enjoy doing, and we enjoy having those types of conversations. And sometimes they turn into more than conversations, they turn into like debates and
Yeah.
heated conversations. But the goal is for us to hear each other, share each other, because then I get a little bit more insight into what he's thinking and how he's feeling. He gets more
Mm-hmm.
insight into what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. And this is the intentionality behind the work in a marriage and the two becoming one flesh.
I love that.
It
That's
doesn't mean that I have to be him and he
yeah.
has to be me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what we're saying. We're not conflating genders or roles or any of that.
Right.
The two becoming one flesh is being on one accord, is
Mm-hmm.
moving in the same trajectory, in my
Yeah.
opinion, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
moving at still my female speed, and he's going to move at his male
Yeah.
speed, right? But the thing is that we both committed to growth. We
Right.
both committed to a path of growth. And so growth is in a lot of different areas of your life. And so one of the most important areas for us is that. And when we can keep that first, and anytime we have a spat or an argument or whatever the case may be, because everybody does and everyone has these moments, we can honestly say, okay, well, what is Yeshua going to say about this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's always going to be our basis, even when we have our harmony,
Yeah.
right? Our ebbs and flows. At the end of the day, you have this harmony, you have these ebbs and flows, but as long as we're singing the same song, it's going to sound beautiful.
Oh, I love that. This has been such an incredible conversation, Kanema. I'm just basking in your wisdom and all the things that you are learning and that you're able to share with all of us listening today. So I just want to thank you for taking time to come on the show and share a little bit of like what your journey has looked like. And for those listening that want to follow you and see how this is going to continue to progress, where do you want to invite them to come into your community?
I am most active on Instagram. So very easy to find Dr. Kanema Clark. Just my name simply. You can find me on any handle with that name, actually. If you want to I have a website. I have a lot of information out there, but if you just Google Dr. Kanema Clark, very, very easy to find on any handle.
Perfect. I'll make sure to link all of this in the show notes too for those of you who are listening. And we're just going to have you on later on in the year after you've done this
Yes,
and do a part
yes,
two so we
yes.
can hear an update on how everything has just continued to progress. But thank you
Absolutely. I
again
would
so
love,
much.
love to come back after nationals.
Yes.
Right now I'm on the journey to the next crown or
Yeah.
going for Mrs. International. And so would love, love, love to talk about that afterwards, and
Yes.
share a little bit about how I'm telling my girls about
Mm,
how to deal with this
yeah.
world. They ask me a lot of questions about the crown and the titles and,
Yeah.
how to navigate and steer through those things as you're rearing young girls, I think is important too. We
Sure.
should have a conversation about that too.
Yes, I would love that. We will definitely do that. I cannot wait, and I'm just over here excited to cheer you on in this journey. Thank you again so much, friends.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Wow, what an incredible conversation with Dr. Kanema Clark, right? I don't know about you, but I feel both challenged and uplifted when I speak with her and hear from her heart. Her heart for faith, her commitment to family, and her fearless pursuit of purpose are a reminder that we can walk through hard seasons and still rise with strength and grace. From her story of resilience all the way to just the wisdom she shared for women balancing motherhood and business and ministry, Kanema is truly a light, and I'm just so honored that she shared her journey with us today. If you were encouraged by this episode, please be sure to connect with Dr. Clark, share this with a friend who needs it, and leave a review letting us know what part spoke to your heart the most. That would just mean so much to me. And remember, friends, whether you're in heels, rocking a messy bun, or somewhere in between, you are made to hustle with purpose and flourish with faith. Until next time, keep going, keep growing, and keep shining. Well, friends, I just want to thank you for listening today. And if this show has meant something to you, please leave a review or rating on whatever platform you're listening to. Also, make sure you follow the show. This helps me continue bringing episodes like this where women can share their stories and link arms together. I hope you feel inspired and refreshed. Now get out there and hustle, girlfriends.